Welcome to Financials with Ahawo. It's great to be together with you again as we continue on our journey on the Making Wealth series. We just concluded a time where we're sharing about wisdom from books. And as I was thinking through and kind of trying to free my mind on what I wanted us to talk about next, I came across someone in my network and they were just talking about their journey and how they build wealth as a family, as a couple. And I thought that would be an interesting place to kind of work that out. So we would like to kind of think through that. It's sometimes many times when you think about money, it can be easy to think about it only as one person. But then we get to the place where we're in a family setup and we now have to think of multiples. It can be two, where maybe it's between a husband and a wife. It can also be among siblings. It can also be um among maybe like just multiples anyway. Many people just thinking through together how they're going to build wealth. So for me, I just thought about it as like, wow, yeah, those are stories we'd like to hear. Those are experiences we'd like to have shared, and we can see what lessons we pick from it. So I will start with me. You can't ask people to talk, but I feel like I would really love to hear other people's stories, so I won't let them just go into detail, but maybe I could say what I'm doing right now. So for me, when I think of family and building in multiples, I've been thinking of what does it mean to build. So currently, I'm thinking I'm doing it alone, but I've been thinking of what does it mean when there's someone else who you're thinking through with what you're doing, and what kind of setup do you put that makes it easy for you to be able to do your finances with someone else, so in pairs and multiples like that. So I realized keeping a record is very key, at least for me. Many times when you're thinking through that I'm just the one dealing with the finance, you're always like, I know where this went, I know where that went, and it makes sense in my head. But one area that really grows in terms of now being able to do finance with others is a place of record. So just, am I accounting for every income that comes through, whether it's paid income like through a salary, paid income through a business, paid income through some interest earned, and things like that? Am I accounting for all that? And then am I accounting for all the expense? And personally, I'm very Excel oriented and also learning how to use apps. So I tend to have like this massive Excel where I'm kind of putting things in place, determining whether they're short term, they're long term, they're medium term, putting in the number of months I want to put into something and what amount can go into that period of time and things like that. So as I've done that, I've realized it's made it so easy to share. It's made it so easy to be able to just pick up and where I need to now work with someone else, just say, okay, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing. Could you? What do you think? Or how can you plug in and things like that? And it may seem like a bit of work because at the beginning, if you're used to just saying, I know where things go and then you move, but when you look at it in the fullness of time or after a given time, makes a lot of sense. It's very practical, it's very easy to follow up, and it's also easy to share. So for me, that's how I can say is a beginning, at least for me, as I think through sharing with others. It begins from just how am I putting things so clearly in detail or so clearly to account that it's going to be easy to share with others. Then the second thing is it also makes my mind think, if I'm sharing this with someone else, then there's just such a consciousness of what I'm doing. It stops being what I said earlier. I know this, I know that, but there's a consciousness of, gosh, someone else needs to understand the theory behind this, the concept behind this, and then be able to make sense of this, even if they were to do it without me. So it's what I'm thinking around right now and what I'd encourage us, even as we think of now building wealth in multiples, it has to begin from that place of how am I as a person doing? How am I as a person accounting? How am I as a person capturing the things I need to be? How am I willing to be transparent and to be accountable? Then it can now close the platform for the next conversation in multiples. That's all for now. Looking forward to future conversations, hearing other people's voices, and not only ours. It's been a joy to share with you my small experience, and just trust that it will build your journey. And again, I keep urging, write. It does take a bit more time. It does mean that you have to kind of slow down, but it's such a key accountability in the making wealth journey. And even as we look at family wealth. See you or talk to you soon again. It's Ahawo.